Welcome back. At first glance, the Lincoln Bicentennial cent series looks like ordinary pocket change, but a closer look reveals fascinating designs, hidden collector details, and surprising stories that many people overlook. Before you spend another one, let's uncover what makes these historic coins so interesting to collectors. First coined the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial cent, featuring the professional life design, quietly stands apart from nearly every other modern Lincoln cent because it captures a defining chapter of Abraham Lincoln's journey before the presidency, portraying him as a young lawyer standing confidently in Illinois. At first glance, it can look like just another penny mixed into everyday pocket change. Yet the reverse tells a story that stretches back to frontier America, where determination, education, and relentless self-improvement shaped a man who would later influence an entire nation. Released as one of four special bicentennial reverse designs celebrating the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, this particular coin represents the period when Lincoln practiced law and developed the reputation for honesty and careful reasoning that earned him the nickname Honest Abe. Millions were produced, making most examples common, but collectors quickly realized that condition, striking quality, mint origin, and unusual production characteristics could separate an ordinary cent from one that commands genuine attention. That possibility has inspired countless hobbyists to revisit forgotten coin jars, inherited collections, and old bank rolls, wondering whether an overlooked example might hold far greater significance than its face value ever suggests. Examining the coin closely reveals details that are often missed during everyday circulation. Lincoln appears beside books and legal references that symbolize his profession, while the careful arrangement of the design reflects the United States Mint's effort to tell a historical story through miniature sculpture, rather than simply produce another circulating coin. Freshly struck examples display crisp lettering, sharp architectural details, and smooth fields that catch light differently from heavily circulated pieces. Depending on where the coin was struck, tiny mint marks can provide additional collecting interest, and specialists frequently compare examples from different mints to evaluate strike sharpness, luster, and overall eye appeal. Even subtle differences in surface texture, original mint color, or preservation can dramatically influence collector enthusiasm, especially when the coin has avoided years of scratches, discoloration, or environmental damage. What appears ordinary under room lighting can suddenly reveal remarkable detail under magnification, encouraging experienced collectors to spend far more time inspecting each piece than most people would ever imagine. The year 2009 was unlike any other in the Lincoln Cent series, because four unique reverse designs were introduced to commemorate separate stages of Lincoln's life, making the professional life design part of a much larger historical narrative rather than an isolated release. Collectors often assembled complete four-coin sets, but many also searched for exceptional individual examples with flawless surfaces or unusual production characteristics. During periods of heavy mint production, even well-maintained equipment can produce fascinating variations, and that reality has fueled decades of interest in modern mint errors. While the overwhelming majority of these cents left the mint exactly as intended, a very small number displayed unexpected traits that transformed them into conversation pieces. Tiny die imperfections, striking inconsistencies, or uncommon manufacturing events became the foundation of stories passed between collectors at coin shows, auctions, and club meetings, reminding everyone that even a recent coin can carry remarkable collecting potential when the right combination of rarity and preservation appears. Among the characteristics that generate the greatest excitement are noticeable letter doubling, off-center strikes, broad strike appearances, die cracks, retained cuds, clipped planchets, partial collar strikes, and other legitimate mint-made anomalies that occurred before the coins ever entered circulation. Distinguishing genuine mint errors from post-mint damage requires patience, experience, and often magnification, because ordinary wear, machine damage, or accidental impacts can imitate more valuable characteristics. Careful collectors study the rims for unusual shapes, inspect the lettering for true doubling rather than simple mechanical distortion, and compare the alignment of both sides to determine whether an authentic striking irregularity exists. Weight can also become an important clue, since a coin that differs from standard specifications may point toward an unusual planchet or production event deserving closer examination. None of these observations alone guarantees rarity, yet together they create the investigative process that makes coin collecting feel less like sorting spare change and more like solving a historical mystery hidden in plain sight. Once condition and authenticity enter the conversation, values begin to separate dramatically. A circulated example with no unusual characteristics is generally collected for its historical significance rather than its financial worth. But documented collector sales have shown that genuine minor varieties, scarce die-related differences, or especially attractive examples can sometimes reach approximately $2,500 to $3,500 when the right combination of rarity, demand, and certification comes together. Exceptionally preserved coins receiving outstanding professional grades have also reached around $5,000 in documented collector markets, while unusual mint anomalies verified by respected grading specialists have occasionally approached $6,000. These figures represent documented collector or auction outcomes where applicable, not promises or guaranteed prices, because every coin must stand on its own merits. The difference between an ordinary cent and an extraordinary one can depend on details almost invisible to the naked eye, making careful examination far more valuable than quick assumptions based solely on the date. For collectors fortunate enough to uncover especially desirable pieces, the excitement can continue climbing. Examples combining exceptional eye appeal, original mint brilliance, desirable certification, and recognized collector demand have sometimes realized around $7,500, while exceptionally preserved or genuinely uncommon pieces have approached $8,000 under favorable market conditions. In rarer situations involving unusual discoveries with strong collector interest, documented sales have reached approximately $8,500, and extraordinary or historically significant examples with exceptional preservation. Remarkable mint characteristics or outstanding provenance have climbed toward $9,000 in competitive collector environments. Those outcomes remain uncommon and should never be viewed as guaranteed expectations, yet they explain why experienced numismatists continue examining modern cents with remarkable care. For someone unexpectedly finding such a coin in an inherited collection or forgotten roll, the experience could feel as meaningful as discovering the funds for a home down payment, receiving an unexpected financial windfall, or experiencing a once-in-a-lifetime moment that transforms an ordinary afternoon into an unforgettable memory. Before anyone considers selling or purchasing a promising example, careful verification is essential. Begin by checking the coin's weight against official specifications, paying close attention to its metal composition, since unusual planchets or transitional production mistakes can occasionally create legitimate collector interest. Study the color to determine whether the surfaces appear original or have been altered after leaving the mint. Examine the strike alignment to ensure both sides were produced correctly. Inspect the rim shape for abnormalities, and use magnification to search for authentic letter doubling rather than damage caused through circulation. Compare suspicious features with reliable reference photographs whenever possible, because even experienced collectors can mistake postmint damage for genuine errors. Most importantly, obtain professional authentication and grading before assigning significant value or entering negotiations, since an independent expert can distinguish true mint-made characteristics from ordinary wear and provide confidence for both buyers and sellers in today's competitive numismatic marketplace. Every surviving 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Professional Life cent carries the same historical message about perseverance, education, and personal growth. Yet only a small number inspire the kind of collector excitement that leads to remarkable auction headlines and memorable discoveries. That uncertainty is precisely what keeps enthusiasts returning to coin rolls, estate collections, cash drawers, and forgotten jars year after year, knowing that history occasionally hides in the smallest places. One careful inspection could reveal nothing unusual, or it could uncover the tiny combination of preservation, rarity, and authentic mint characteristics that transforms a familiar penny into a celebrated collectible with an extraordinary story. And if this remarkable Lincoln cent proves that even modern pocket change can still surprise experienced collectors, the next coin waiting to be examined may possess an even more astonishing secret that few people have ever noticed. Coin number 2, the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Penny featuring the formative years design, looks so ordinary that countless examples have been spent, dropped into tip jars, and forgotten in kitchen drawers without a second thought. Yet its reverse quietly captures one of the most meaningful moments in Abraham Lincoln's early life, showing a young Lincoln reading a book while pausing from splitting logs in the Indiana wilderness. That simple scene represents an extraordinary story of determination, curiosity, and self-education, reminding collectors that greatness often begins in the most humble surroundings. Released as one of 4 special reverse designs honoring different chapters of Lincoln's life during the bicentennial of his birth, this coin was created to celebrate the years that shaped his character rather than his later achievements. Millions entered circulation, making it appear common, but appearances can be misleading because the collecting world has repeatedly shown that certain surviving examples possess qualities far beyond what anyone expects from an everyday 1-cent coin. Unlike traditional Lincoln cents that carried the familiar Lincoln Memorial reverse for decades, this design introduced a deeply personal historical image that immediately attracted collectors interested in both American history and modern United States coinage. Freshly struck pieces reveal intricate textures in the log, carefully engraved clothing folds, and sharply defined tree details that often disappear after only a short time in circulation. Coins preserved from the day they were issued frequently display vibrant original surfaces and brilliant luster that create an entirely different visual experience compared with heavily worn examples found in pocket change. Specialists often compare coins from different production facilities to study strike quality, surface preservation, and subtle differences in appearance, knowing that even small distinctions can influence long-term collector demand. A casual glance rarely tells the full story, and that hidden complexity continues to inspire people to search through old rolls, inherited collections, and forgotten savings jars with renewed curiosity. Production during the bicentennial year required the United States Mint to prepare multiple reverse designs in rapid succession, demanding exceptional coordination between engraving, die preparation, and large-scale manufacturing. Although the overwhelming majority of these cents were struck exactly as intended, every large production run carries the possibility of unexpected manufacturing irregularities, and that possibility has fascinated collectors ever since these coins first entered circulation. Some enthusiasts search exclusively for perfectly preserved examples, while others devote years to locating unusual mint-made varieties that escaped into commerce unnoticed. As time passes, pristine examples become increasingly difficult to locate because circulation gradually removes original luster, introduces contact marks, and softens the sharp details that distinguish outstanding specimens from ordinary survivors. The result is a modern coin that continues to surprise collectors despite its relatively recent origin. Among the most intriguing discoveries are authentic doubled dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die breaks, partial collar strikes, clip planchets, rotated die errors, and other genuine mint-produced anomalies that occurred during the manufacturing process rather than afterward. Distinguishing those legitimate errors from damage received in circulation requires patience and careful observation because scratches, impacts, chemical exposure, and environmental wear can create misleading appearances. Experienced collectors carefully inspect every letter, every numeral, and every design element under magnification, searching for characteristics that match known mint-produced varieties instead of random damage. Even a slight but genuine difference in striking pressure or die alignment can transform an otherwise ordinary-looking scent into a fascinating collectible, demonstrating that remarkable discoveries often depend on details measured in fractions of a millimeter, rather than dramatic visual differences visible from across a room. Only after rarity, condition, and authentication come together does the conversation naturally shift toward value. Documented collector transactions and auction results have shown that notable examples possessing recognized desirable characteristics have sometimes realized approximately $5,000 to $7,000, particularly when exceptional preservation is combined with strong collector demand. Higher-grade certified error coins have occasionally reached around $8,000, while impressive mint state examples displaying outstanding eye appeal and premium grading have achieved approximately $8,200 in documented collector markets where applicable. These figures represent recorded collector or auction outcomes in certain cases and should never be interpreted as guaranteed values, since every coin is evaluated individually according to its condition, rarity, certification, authenticity, and the level of competition among interested buyers at the time of sale. The most dramatic stories emerge when unusual mint mistakes enter the picture. Verified production errors with distinctive characteristics have sometimes attracted prices near $8,700, while major authenticated error coins possessing exceptional collector appeal have approached $9,000 under favorable market conditions. In extraordinarily rare documented situations involving remarkable error examples with outstanding provenance or exceptional scarcity, reported auction or private sale results have climbed as high as $35,000, although such outcomes remain highly uncommon and depend entirely upon the specific coin being offered. Those exceptional sales capture public attention because they remind collectors that remarkable discoveries occasionally emerge from the most ordinary places, but they also reinforce an important truth. Extraordinary prices belong to extraordinary coins, not to every example bearing the same date and design. Stories shared throughout the collecting community often revolve around missed opportunities as much as unforgettable discoveries. Someone unknowingly spends an unusual coin during a routine purchase, only to learn years later that a similar authenticated example sold for thousands of dollars, while another person opens an old family coin album expecting sentimental keepsakes, and instead uncovers a remarkable specimen worthy of professional examination. Those moments create lasting memories because they blend history, luck, patience, and careful observation into a single experience that few hobbies can match. The emotional impact extends far beyond money, since finding an overlooked rarity can feel like uncovering a forgotten chapter of American history, or receiving an unexpected opportunity capable of changing financial plans in ways no one imagined when the coin first passed through ordinary hands. Anyone hopping to identify an exceptional 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial formative years scent should proceed carefully by checking its weight against official specifications, examining the metal composition for consistency, studying the original color and surface preservation, inspecting strike alignment on both sides, looking for any unusual rim expansion, and searching closely for genuine letter doubling that matches recognized mint-made characteristics rather than post-mint damage. Careful documentation and comparison with reliable references are essential before drawing conclusions, and professional authentication remains the most reliable step before buying, selling, or assigning significant value to any potentially important coin. The smallest overlooked detail can completely change the story behind an ordinary-looking penny. And if this quiet tribute to Lincoln's formative years can conceal such remarkable possibilities, the next overlooked coin waiting in a forgotten collection may reveal an even more astonishing secret. Coin number 3, the 2009 D. Lincoln Bicentennial Cent featuring the presidency in Washington. D.C. reverse design can disappear into a handful of loose change without attracting the slightest attention. Yet that quiet appearance conceals one of the most symbolic chapters ever portrayed on a modern United States 1-cent coin. The reverse honors Abraham Lincoln's years as president by depicting the unfinished dome of the United States Capitol, a powerful reminder that even while the nation faced extraordinary challenges, construction continued as a symbol of perseverance and unity. Struck at the Denver Mint during the bicentennial celebration of Lincoln's birth, this cent became part of a unique four-design series that encouraged collectors to look beyond dates and denominations, and instead appreciate the story engraved into the metal. Most examples entered circulation immediately, blending into everyday commerce, but a small number survived with qualities that transformed an ordinary-looking penny into an object of genuine fascination among dedicated numismatists. Unlike earlier Lincoln cents that displayed familiar reverse imagery year after year, this design introduced architectural detail that demanded careful engraving and precise striking. The partially completed Capitol dome, surrounding framework, and balanced inscriptions created a scene unlike anything previously seen on a circulating Lincoln cent, rewarding close examination with details that often disappear after years of use. Coins retaining their original brilliance reveal crisp lines, reflective fields, and sharply defined features that distinguish them from heavily circulated pieces. Collectors often search for examples with smooth, untouched surfaces because even minor contact marks can dramatically affect long-term desirability. The Denver Mint's production standards were consistently high, yet subtle differences in strike sharpness and preservation continue to make certain examples stand out among millions that otherwise appear nearly identical at first glance. Creating 4 commemorative reverse designs within a single year required extensive planning, new master hubs, fresh dies, and careful coordination between engraving artists and mint production teams. Every new die introduced another opportunity for tiny imperfections or unexpected manufacturing events, and while the vast majority of coins were produced exactly as intended, collectors understand that no large production run is completely immune to unusual results. Over time, specialists began noticing examples with distinctive characteristics that separated them from ordinary circulation pieces, inspiring renewed interest in searching coin rolls and inherited collections. That ongoing hunt has helped keep the Bicentennial series relevant years after its release, because each discovery reminds collectors that remarkable finds are still possible in modern American coinage. Some of the most intriguing pieces display authentic doubled dies, die chips, off-center strikes, broad strikes, partial collars, clipped planchets, retained die breaks, or rotated die varieties created during the minting process rather than after the coin entered circulation. Genuine mint-made errors require careful evaluation because scratches, dents, environmental exposure, and machine damage can easily imitate more valuable characteristics. Experienced collectors study the smallest design elements under magnification, paying attention to lettering, architectural details, and the relationship between the obverse and reverse alignment. A legitimate production anomaly may appear subtle, but when verified, it can significantly increase collector interest because authentic mint errors represent unusual moments in the manufacturing process that escaped normal quality control before reaching the public. Only after rarity, condition, and authenticity are fully considered does the discussion naturally turn toward collector value. Documented auction and collector transactions have shown that authenticated smaller error varieties have sometimes realized approximately $3,000 to $6,000, depending on their specific characteristics, preservation, and market demand. Unusual discoveries verified by respected grading services have occasionally reached around $6,500, while premium high-grade examples displaying exceptional originality and eye appeal have approached $7,000 in competitive collector markets. These figures reflect documented auction or collector sales where applicable and should never be viewed as guaranteed outcomes, because every coin is unique and prices ultimately depend upon certification, rarity, condition, and buyer interest at the time of sale. As the quality and rarity increase, so can collector enthusiasm. Significant authenticated error coins have occasionally achieved approximately $8,000, while exceptional mint state error examples with outstanding preservation have reached around $8,600 under favorable circumstances. Rare verified misstrikes have sometimes approached $9,000, and in extraordinary documented cases involving remarkable rarity, exceptional preservation, or highly desirable mint-made characteristics, auction or private sale results have climbed as high as $11,000. Such impressive prices remain uncommon and are reserved for truly exceptional coins rather than ordinary circulating examples, but they demonstrate why knowledgeable collectors continue examining modern bicentennial cents with remarkable patience and attention to detail. Many of the most memorable stories in coin collecting begin with something almost too ordinary to notice. A forgotten jar tucked away in a closet, an inherited box that sat unopened for years, or a handful of change received during an everyday purchase can unexpectedly contain a coin worthy of professional examination. Some people later realize they unknowingly spent an unusual example before understanding its significance, while others experience the excitement of discovering that a coin overlooked by countless hands possesses remarkable collector appeal. Those moments create lasting emotional connections because they combine history, careful observation, and unexpected opportunity, turning what seemed like an ordinary penny into a symbol of possibility capable of changing both a collection and, in rare situations, someone's financial outlook. Anyone evaluating a promising 2009 D. Lincoln Bicentennial Presidency cent should examine its weight against official specifications, confirm the proper metal composition, inspect strike quality across the entire design, study the rim for unusual characteristics, and carefully search for authentic letter doubling using reliable magnification. Comparing suspicious features with trusted references and obtaining professional authentication before buying or selling are essential steps, since expert evaluation can distinguish genuine mint-made varieties from ordinary post-mint damage. Every remarkable discovery begins with careful observation rather than assumption, and if this seemingly ordinary Denver Bicentennial cent can quietly hide such fascinating possibilities, the next overlooked coin waiting in circulation may reveal an even greater surprise. Coin number 4. The 2009 United States Lincoln cent featuring the birth and early childhood design appears so ordinary that it can easily pass through dozens of hands in a single day without attracting attention, yet it quietly represents the very beginning of Abraham Lincoln's remarkable journey. Its reverse portrays the humble log cabin associated with Lincoln's earliest years in Kentucky, transforming a familiar 1-cent coin into a miniature historical tribute created during the bicentennial celebration of his birth. Unlike the standard Lincoln Memorial reverse that Americans recognized for decades, this design briefly replaced tradition with a story inviting anyone willing to look closely to see history instead of simply spare change. Although millions were produced for circulation, the passage of time has shown that not every surviving example is equal, and some pieces have become surprisingly desirable because of their preservation, striking quality, or unusual mint-made characteristics that escaped ordinary notice. Designers carefully balance simplicity with historical symbolism, creating a reverse that rewards close inspection with subtle details often overlooked during everyday use. The texture of the cabin logs, the surrounding landscape, and the proportional arrangement of the inscriptions were engraved to evoke a frontier setting rather than a grand national monument. Freshly struck examples display bright original luster and sharply defined details that gradually fade as coins circulate through commerce, making pristine survivors increasingly difficult to locate. Collectors often compare examples from different mint facilities, searching for especially crisp strikes, clean surfaces, and appealing natural color. What appears to be just another modern cent can reveal remarkable craftsmanship under magnification, reminding enthusiasts that beauty in coin collecting is often hidden in the smallest details rather than the largest designs. Producing an entirely new reverse for the first chapter of Lincoln's life required new master dies, fresh production equipment, and extensive preparation before millions of coins entered circulation. Every stage of that process demanded remarkable precision, because even the slightest imperfection in a die could be transferred to thousands of coins before being discovered. While quality control removed the overwhelming majority of flawed pieces, collectors know that unusual production events occasionally escaped into circulation, creating lasting interest decades after the coins were released. As more ordinary examples accumulated scratches, wear, and discoloration through daily use, untouched coins became increasingly attractive to collectors who appreciated originality above all else. That gradual separation between common circulated pieces and exceptional survivors has continued to strengthen collector fascination with this historic bicentennial issue. Among the features that generate the greatest excitement are genuine doubled dies, broad strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, retained cuds, clip planchets, partial collar strikes, and other authenticated mint-made errors created during production rather than after circulation. Proper identification requires patience because damage caused by machinery, accidental impacts, or environmental exposure can imitate valuable characteristics without carrying the same collector significance. Experienced numismatists carefully inspect every inscription, every edge, and every design element under magnification, looking for consistent evidence of true manufacturing anomalies. Even slight variations in the striking process can become important when verified by specialists, proving that remarkable discoveries often depend on careful observation rather than dramatic visual differences that immediately stand out. Only after condition, rarity, and authenticity have been established does the conversation naturally shift toward potential collector value. Documented auction and private sale results have shown that authenticated minor mint errors have sometimes realized approximately $900 to $2,000, depending on the specific variety, certification, and market demand. Unusual verified misstrikes have occasionally reached around $3,000, while premium high-grade examples with exceptional preservation and strong eye appeal have approached $3,500 in competitive collector markets. These figures reflect documented collector activity, where applicable and should never be interpreted as guaranteed prices, since every individual coin is evaluated according to its own characteristics, originality, rarity, and the willingness of buyers to compete for it. As rarity becomes more significant, the potential outcomes become even more impressive. Strong mint state error coins have occasionally achieved approximately $5,000, while rare authenticated misstrikes with highly desirable production characteristics have approached $6,000 in documented sales. Extraordinary collector examples displaying exceptional preservation, recognized rarity, and outstanding visual appeal have sometimes reached around $6,500, and in exceptionally uncommon documented cases involving one-of-a-kind discoveries or historically important mint-made errors, auction or private sale results have climbed as high as $9,000. Such remarkable prices remain rare and apply only to truly exceptional coins, reminding collectors that the most valuable examples combine rarity, authenticity, outstanding preservation, and strong demand, rather than simply sharing the same date and design. Many unforgettable discoveries begin with a decision that almost never happens. Someone pauses before spending a handful of pennies, notices a design that seems different from the familiar Lincoln memorial, and decides to look more closely instead of dropping the coin into a cash register. Another person inherits an old collection assembled decades earlier, and unknowingly opens a box containing a remarkable survivor that had quietly waited for years to be appreciated. Stories of overlooked opportunities circulate throughout the collecting community, because they remind everyone that valuable coins are not always hidden inside expensive collections. Sometimes they remain unnoticed in everyday places until patience, curiosity, and careful observation finally reveal their importance. That possibility continues to inspire collectors to examine each coin individually, knowing that an ordinary moment can occasionally become a life-changing discovery. Before buying or selling any promising example, carefully examine its weight against official specifications, verify the expected metal composition, study the original color for signs of alteration, inspect strike alignment on both sides, evaluate the rim for unusual characteristics, and search closely for authentic letter doubling using proper magnification and reliable references. Professional authentication and grading remain the most dependable way to confirm rarity and establish confidence during any transaction, protecting both buyers and sellers from costly mistakes. Every coin deserves careful evaluation before assumptions are made, and this remarkable birth and early childhood bicentennial cent proves that genuine treasures can still be hiding in everyday pocket change. If you enjoy uncovering forgotten history and learning how ordinary coins can become extraordinary collectibles, be sure to subscribe for more discoveries. Keep searching every handful of change with patience and curiosity, and remember that the next unforgettable find could already be waiting in your pocket as this journey comes to its close.